This video is intended to shed light. To the believers in Christ, please watch to the end to get all the information you may need. Christians in these final times, it's crucial to awaken to the reality that your existence isn't solely as an individual. There are other entities present among you. Some are here to assist, while others harbor hostility due to your radiance as children of God. I earnestly pray for the removal of the veil from your eyes. The Bible warns that a lack of knowledge leads to destruction, and we find ourselves in these prophesied days where knowledge is burgeoning. As a follower of Christ, it's imperative to recognize the adversary influencing this era, potentially even impacting you and your children through everyday experiences, be it through television, workplaces, or radio. It's time to rouse from slumber and ascend higher in your spiritual journey. There's mention of reptilian beings with spiritual abilities that surpass human comprehension. Indeed, they collaborate with witches and warlocks, explaining inexplicable attacks such as hearing voices, intrusive thoughts, or experiences like gang stalking. This message aims to inform and awaken you, reminding that through the Holy Spirit, you possess spiritual gifts. Moreover, remember that guardian angels are watching over you.
अगर मैं नहीं होता ना तो बच्चे को बड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है यार। कैसे हुआ यार? संतोष जी दिख रहा है आपको?
कभी कभी ना वो हो जाता है ना तभी होता है ये।
क्या बाबू?
The Illuminati, as the popular term for them today is a group which has been around for thousands of years on this planet. They came from off of this planet and interbred with humans. They are reptilian. They have their chosen bloodlines, and they continue to try and keep their genetics pure and interbreed with these chosen bloodlines. These beings are part human and they are part reptilian. And they continue to run the planet. They are our world leaders, and nobody at this current time who is a government leader is there running the countries unless they were put there by them or they are one of them. Bloodline, in my particular case, I was a slave, and to them, most of humanity, or all of humanity, they consider inferior. They consider humanity a resource to be used for their purpose. They are at a time, a very important time right now, when they are working with some new energies on this planet that they don't work well with. So a lot is coming out into the open, and that is higher law, that it must come out into the open. And they are under higher law also. I was chosen for what I did and for my involvement because my family was bloodline. My mother's family, all I knew growing up was that they were Irish for generations, not even any brown-eyed people among them. My mother, her sister, went back to Ireland and researched the bloodline, the family genetics, in the early 70s. And I was told that the original family on the father's side actually came from the south of France. Now, anyone that has done any reading from some well-known authors at this point know that southern France plays a major role in this. That is the source of Merovingian bloodlines. On the other side, in her family, it has been told to me that her mother's father was a ritual statistician with the Quaker Coronati Lodge, and he was one of the founding members. That lodge is very involved at a very high level. On my father's side, I have been told that his father, and I have seen the papers, that he's illegitimate. I have also been told by a number of persons approaching me that he is an illegitimate Rothschild. Now, I was always told that that bloodline was impure. The Rothschilds are not looked upon within the Illuminati as a pure, high bloodline. They have a lot of arguments among themselves as to the purity of their bloodlines. And there is a group within, or there are more than one group within the Illuminati that consider themselves the purest of bloodlines, and that they rule by right. They feel that they rule by right and not to be elected by the Pope or okayed by any type of Christianity to rule. So they have many disagreements, discords, and arguments among themselves, and that is a weak point with them, that they cannot agree, and they have big egos. And that is where they will eventually catch themselves up with their ego. I was chosen because of the bloodline, and I was chosen because I have psychic ability. This was tested out and shown when I was a very young child, about age 3. When I was 3 years old, I was causing objects to move without touching them. This is an ability that they look for. It's not important that you can move objects. That's not the important part. That shows that you have the psychic ability, which is what they look for. Because reptilian bloodlines, in a way, they are very psychic. They can read any of you and know what you're going to do before you do it. And they're not to be underestimated that way. But they cannot enter into any dimension higher than a 4th dimension. They do not have the genetics to do it. They were hoping, interbreeding with the humans, that they would have the ability. They do not have it. They continue to utilize human beings for many purposes, and the purpose that they utilized me for were my psychic abilities, my ability to enter into higher dimensions, my ability to bring down those that are still in this so-called 4th dimension into this physical realm.
Secretly a reptoid, and Anderson Cooper? Taylor Swift?
So the song Shake It Off was about how I shed my skin every 1,000 years. And the song Bad Blood was about how I drink blood out of my Grammys.
A toast to blood! Save some blood for Paul Rudd.
So that's why Paul Rudd never ages.
First species on the face of this earth to be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do, the babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight. We are the first species on the face of this earth to be aware of evolution, to be aware that we are affecting our own evolution by everything that we do, the babies we eat, the food we eat, the wars we fight.
The people who run our society consider themselves gods, and that's why they're not explaining.
They think they're more than human.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, I go, they're not even human, because humans care about their environment and their neighbors, and humans care about, you know, other people's children.
Of course.
And humans care about living things.
Yes.
But they don't do any of that. And he goes, because they think they're more than human.
Oh, I noticed.
They
That's why
think
they
they're
want to live forever.
royals. They think they're like royals in a rarefied sphere of DNA or something above us. Like, did they come from another planet? You know, when you hear people talk, I can't either. But
this is the podcast to speculate on it, though.
Well, because some people say, you know, a lot of religious people, they're into some deep rabbit holes of things, and I don't know anything.
Well, you can see why they are, though. I mean, speaking for myself, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know if this is the Nephilim, right?
I was going to say.
I don't.
I know.
Here we go.
That's what I said.
No. Let me just say. I said I don't know anything about that stuff. Okay, I'm a very ordinary middle-aged man who spent his life following politics and theology, but I do know that whatever's going on is very deep.
Yeah,
I've spent my whole life around politicians and seen decisions get made, interviewed people who run things, and what's happening now is qualitatively different. So different that it's not in the same category at all.
No.
This is hurting people for the sake of hurting them. This is lying for the sake of lying. This is, as the devil hates holy water, they hate the truth. You tell the truth about anything. It almost doesn't matter what it's about. It doesn't have to be about the next election.
That's
it can just be about history, for example. Telling the truth about history. Why should that offend anybody?
That really pisses
Periods where everyone's dead. And we can't, of course, change the past, so there's nothing really at stake for us now, right? You would think people would welcome open-minded historical inquiry to get closer to what actually happened in whatever period or in whatever event. They hate that.
Yes.
Well, what are you watching? You're watching someone who hates the truth because it's true. And there's no possible profit motive that is driving that. There's no political end that is driving that. They hate the truth because it's true. Now we're in the realm of theology.
Some people, like the bloodlines of the global cult, as I call it, have twin or hybrid information fields, one human and one not human. Now, to hide their true nature, the human field is the one projected in public, and any observer will decode that field into something holographically human. But when the other non-human field becomes the dominant one, when the information fields shift, the observer is first decoding the human field and then suddenly the non-human field, reptilian or whatever it is. To the observer's decoded holographic reality, someone has shifted from a human form to a non-human form physically, but there's nothing physical about it. The transformation has taken place only in the observer's holographic decoding processes in their head. It is an information shift, not a physical one.
The reptilian hybrids have been known to shapeshift temporarily into their reptilian form. So that's happened with 3 of them whom I know about. One of them, a beautiful a hybrid living in England. Her name is Charmaine. The way that she got confirmation that she is a hybrid was having an encounter with some of her reptilian extraterrestrials, and she has encounters with other types as well, and genetics from other types. But in one encounter when she was about age 27 with her reptilian extraterrestrials, they helped her to shapeshift into her total, pure reptilian form.
And she can
And
do that,
she
goes
did.
back and forth
And
within?
she can go back and forth as she pleases. Mostly she's human.
Yeah.
And, but when she shapeshifted into her reptilian form, she was absolutely delighted. Now, most of us might be rather horrified at the thought, but she was delighted because she had always felt some reptilian in her.
That reptilians and Draco, you know, the blood sacrifices, the whole Luciferian thing, the kids being killed and eaten. I mean, that humans have been eaten and taken off planet, et cetera, and used for slaves in other colonies, etc.
I hate to say that, but that's far worse than what you've just said.
It's far worse.
Yes, far worse.
Far worse, yeah.
And that the whole blood situation is it's unbelievable, and
right.
I don't know how we say that to the public. I don't know how. To me, if we get into that, and I know all about it, okay?
All right.
Far more than you know.
Sure,
all right?
I'm sure.
When we get into that, if we release it, 70–80% of everybody that listens to your program is going to say, you're smoking pot. I don't believe that, and I don't believe anything you people talk about on extraterrestrial. And it's going to kill what disclosure is trying to do. That's my opinion.
But you know the pedophilia is starting to be exposed everywhere. You know that much is coming
Oh,
out.
yeah. But you know the part that I don't want to talk about.
I hear you.
Okay?
Yeah. Saying as much as you said right now is actually great.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you basically are, anyone who's hearing everything else you say is going to have to come to home with this. And if they want to know more, it's out there. It's more and more, it's out there.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to speak for Bob, but Bob Wood, Dr. Wood, who's worked with me on my book, okay?
Yes.
He's a genius. If we were in the conference room and we were talking and there was a big table there, he would have his fist like this and he would slam that table. I want every GD thing exposed. I want it all
Good
out.
for him. That's lovely to hear.
And I have to say, I'm having a hard time disagreeing with him, but
Well, we can do another interview on that subject so that, you know, this one, it goes out, because I know you really want this information out. You want people to start to wake up, and we don't want to turn them off to any...
we don't want, you just said
degree.
it, we don't want them to be turned off. We don't want them to not believe what's being said, okay?
I know, but
and this,
yeah, it's...
and some, we can get into it partially, but I'm saying, I personally don't want to be involved in doing what Bob wants to do. It's too heavy. I think it's going to really hurt getting more people to get involved in this subject. Okay, they're going to say that Bill Tompkins is smoking pot. I don't believe one damn word. I don't want to hear about any of this. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it.
My philosophy on this, which is humans are not protecting themselves. They're not protected. And so if you don't warn them, you're culpable. The next time somebody gets snatched and eaten or taken away, or their child, and I'm more concerned about the children, obviously, than anything else.
That's
you know.
That's it. Well, that's what.
And so that's my statement. My statement is, I care about the children and I want to protect the children. How can you protect a child? You must tell them, you must tell their parents what's happening, what's really going on this planet. And it's about time we humans are able to protect ourselves. There's a lot of New Agers out there who want nothing but to believe that there's ETs, definitely, but they're all hearts and flowers and good guys.
Right. Yes.
And this is such a dangerous thing to put out there, because again, you get humans that will not be able to protect themselves.
That's
and
correct.
also not understand. Some people get the wrong idea about Camelot, but I'm actually in favor of the military. I know it sounds crazy, but I actually understand that we have a lot of military that are putting their lives on the line.
Yes.
In a daily basis to protect humans that have absolutely no idea that they're in danger.
You're right. Absolutely. I agree.
And that's got to change.
Yeah, it's got to change.
Yeah. So, I realize that people have no idea what a brave man you are.
Oh.
You are, I just wanted this statement made on my interview here, that the courage that it takes to actually do what you're doing right now is phenomenal. Really it is. See, I can get away with this because I'm a journalist and I can say anything and people will say, she's crazy, and just not listen. But someone with your stature, with your reputation and your documentation and where you were and where you come from and all of that, this is substantial. I don't think people can ignore you. I don't think they can.
Well, I sure hope they don't, because frankly, we need help.
Yeah.
We need everybody involved in this. That's not a lie. We need help.
Yes.
The Navy had been involved with the German facilities in Antarctica and the Draco reptilian facilities in caverns in the Antarctica. And you have Draco reptilian guys running your governments
Right.
of every country on your planet.
Of every government. There you go.
Wow.
That's quite a statement.
I
Does
mean,
that answer your question?
I'm sorry. That's not what we want to hear. When we got to the moon, we found out a lot of surprises, okay? The Draco reptilians were already there. And we knew because we had probes when we went, non-manned probes that we sent around the moon. So we knew there were facilities on the backside. We knew a whole lot that people didn't talk about. But we were in a position where this moon is not a moon, okay? It's not your moon in the first place. Actually, this is not your planet. This is their laboratory, okay?
Right. Okay, the Dracos, you mean, or the reptilians?
Draco reptilian / reptilian.
And I'm going to ask you what they all look like and all that, at some point.
Okay.
Because I know. Okay, let's get to when it was it Neil Armstrong landed on the moon, and he said that thing that you heard him say, and Michael wants to get real specific about this. So basically, there were 7 huge craft there, and you said on one of the shows out there, you said that the reptilians actually showed up beneath their craft and they gave the finger.
Okay, they were parked around the side of the crater. Okay, they were not parked on it; they were floating above it.
Okay, yeah.
So there were hundreds of these 9-foot reptilian guys standing with their legs.
Hundreds.
Yeah, they were all the way across the underneath their vehicles,
Okay,
standing
so
on the
9
crater.
feet, and what do they look like?
They're ugly-looking lizard, alligator type people. They got the same skin as the lizards got. Okay, and terrible looking faces. But then they have the ability to shift and look like a human. All of them do. Okay?
Okay, do you think von Braun was a reptilian?
No.
You really don't?
No.
Okay.
Your president, yes.
Oh, which one? George Bush Sr.? Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
And Bill Clinton and this guy you got just got rid of. Yeah.
Yeah.
They all were.
Right.
Okay? So, and they all have this ability to make themselves look like real good-looking people.
And you're saying Trump isn't one?
No, he's not. Okay?
Well, that's a relief.
And and he knows more about this subject than people realize.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Join the fight against the reptilians and Dracos that are basically plundering the galaxies, taking over planets, etc. And you've said something very similar to that.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I'm just saying that this is our situation.
And I guess we should wrap this up. And I want to say thank you very
much.
Love you. Love you. And thank you for your service to humanity.
Okay. Appreciate it.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart and the top of my heart.
So the Draconians were of a different consciousness. You know, these were beings that were originally kicked out of their different universe, and they ended up, I think, somehow got deposited in Draco. Okay, they were not very happy about that. Obviously, they felt that they were an ancient race of beings. They wanted to conquer the galaxy, at least, if not the universe. There's a certain caste system within the Draconian races. So there's more than just one type of Draconian. But there was actually a higher caste, which was the dragons, who were more, to my understanding, were more neutral. The warrior class is the next level. There was a rivalry between the dragon caste and the warrior caste. The warrior caste always felt like, well, why are they top tier? We should be top tier. If we conquer many different systems, maybe we can topple them off of their position. I think for a while the Draconians had taken over Earth. As a matter of fact, Earth access used to be, Earth's pole used to be aligned, North Pole used to be aligned with Thuban, which is in Draco. Now it's aligned with Polaris, as you know. But for thousands of years it was aligned with Thuban because Draconians had control over Earth for a while. And so there was many experimentations, for genetic experimentations that occurred on Earth.